So today's video, the compounds of collateral subtract the residue. So I was watching this 1950s play, and it was called Lil Near by Al Cap. And I realized growing up that when you watch a video in school, a lot of teachers, for example, I got my computer right here, I could play the video, and we're watching a video and you won't understand what you just saw. And I'll put the link of this video down below. It got Indians, pilgrims, and they're singing about this guy, right? And every time you talk about people, you understand when they talk bad about them, when they talk rude about them, but you never understand what's going on because you have to write down one sentence. See, our school system, I come to terms with the school system being like a Jeopardy game, a trivia game. Like you get 5 questions and in the back are the answers, right? And this is called the trivia game. And you get questions on South America, the U.S. Navy, how many people died at Kent State, who created this play, you know, why does beer have a bitter flavor, and what's the lowest hand in poker that you can win, right? So that's our school system. It's a big trivia game. You know, you got 5 questions, 5 answers. You know, when you have essays on books, specifically The Great Gatsby and any other play, there are originated from war. Hollywood started off wondering what people in the army are doing. A lot of these writers were sitting around writing, trying to understand the truth, like me and you, while the other in the army were complaining. They don't know what's going on. They're not taking the time to understand themselves, but they're just complaining, repeating what the next guy is saying, right? But some of these writings describe pages of ideas in one sentence. And class, they show you a video or a movie of the 1950s and you don't understand nothing. And you're not going to understand nothing. I can show you something right now and you wouldn't understand it. Look, and I got cars and cars and cars and cars and cars of research. I got my college books right here. I got about 10 I got 2, you know, where I do my research. And I got 300 videos of material. But today, you know, that's the school system. You remember calling him evil, but nothing intellectual. Today we're going to talk about a sentence of a 1950s play that was popular called Lil Near by Al Cap. I'll put the link in the video, and if I can't, just Google it, Lil Near on Google. But he said, the compounds of collateral subtract the residue. So we're going to explain, we're going to Google what every word means and what that guy in the 1950s was saying about the general, right? The army. So the compounds, if there's an event, reflect the weight, the affected. Events like the Emancipation Proclamation. You understand that? There's a guy in the chair and he's taking all the decisions like me. You should understand people's attention. What weight are they putting in people's head and with what event? So that's the compounds. Collateral. It comes from the compounds of collateral. You know, collateral is Call of Duty. You get 2 kills with 1 bullet. It's called a collateral. You could get 3 kills with 1 bullet. That's a collateral. Collateral comes from a video game. 2 guys, 1 bullet. An event, a compound, is lots of guys. Right? Same trauma. Right? So a compound of collateral is an event. It stays in your head. The event, the trauma, like a collateral. But collateral also has a different meaning. You know, you can talk about the Las Vegas shooting. What was the event about? What were those guys' intention? What was he thinking? And I can explain what he thought, but that's not what we're talking about today. You can do the analysis. There's this history of philosophy, inspiration, understanding military plans, understanding by being in the army, of individuals, specifically writers, that explain their understanding through music, acting. They come back and put it in a joke, in a play. Right? These are individuals who are writing even in the army. All they have is a pencil. That are not that's not told or taught, but it's part of this collective of history teaching philosophy, like The Great Gatsby. You know, these plays that they show you in school, they're not in the curriculum of teaching, but they're these individuals, these writers, these truth-seeking writers, this truth-seeking collective of inspiration that is out in the world that makes you think something about when the first armies were created, 1950s, right? So when you get told to write an essay about these books, they're all war writers or truth-seeking writers who the story may not be real, but he has this understanding or theory of the world in the book, and it's not always about love. You know, Gatsby, it's not living, but the writer is part of a truth-seeking writing, writers in education and writing. And then you see the evolution of movies that tell the truth-seeking movies like The Matrix. You know, I have a book called Dream Nature. Why don't we dream about nature? Because you have numbers in your head. The alphabet is all numbers, placeholders. It's easier for the computer to explain how you feel. The computer only sees numbers, not the alphabet. The alphabet is only numbers. So blue is 2 for B, 12 for L, 22 for U, 5 for E. So that spells blue in numbers. And that lets the computer know you're sad. And what comes after those feelings? A repetition of algorithms, right? So letters are placeholders in your head. So collateral means serving a pledge for a money loan that could still be taken away from you, the loan. So now you can start to see his risk, his story. The collateral has 3 pages of definitions. It means 2 kill, 1 bullet, or it means his risk he's taking for a loan, and which has matured and been lost over time. If it stays in our time, it's now being sold. You did it, sold. It stayed in our timeline. Sold means it still has meaning in today's time. Some people don't make it. Like a house, it stays forever. It's sold in a timeline, a house. And then he says subtract the residue. Residue means something that remains. subtract little by little what is being left in the world. So, in other words, changing the world. You're subtracting the residue. So, what is being said? The world is overpopulated. Solutions. The army is fake. It's to control overpopulation. You don't want a man building in the forest and not paying rent. Not on my land. We have to tax that ass. That man need to pay me to be on my land. And it's funny because it does lead to people living in the forest. You know, peace and love. Compose yourself, President. They give you the option to kill or not be killed. Just don't tell the people. They're going through a lot. The president. Also, right and good, bad and wrong, consciousness, the laws. You can use this for everything in the world. History repeats. Make $1 million. You know it repeats. Or history does not repeat itself. History does not have to repeat itself. So the army is fake, but it's real. You can explain crazy. It's to control overpopulation, he said. That's what I'm understanding from the sentence. So it's fake, but it's real. It's sad. There's ink back in his pen. He's writing again. And his last name, his signature was important to him. And so was his smile. You know, I got this story about the federal cop. It's in my college education. When the president first made federal police officers, he could not pay them. He said, for every 3 quarters, I give you 1 quarter. He paid them with 1/4. That was like millions of dollars. Right? So the president promised a group of police officers and said, I'll give you all 1/4 when we take over the world, when we make America. So he gave them a whole bunch of IOUs to the police. So there was a group of police officers, of security, of people that became rich with the president. And those family of rich police officers that cashed in their IOUs because America became rich could be the first monopolies. It could be the first family of monopolies. And that's all I have to say today. Stay tuned for more videos. Comedy show coming soon. And check out that play and take time to write things down and understand people.